my sound? Can I get 11 if my sound is acceptable? Hopefully it is. Come here, Vinny. Vinny, come here. Vinny, come here. All right. All right. We are streaming. We are streaming. We are live. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. This is a little presentation I put together because I have had losing streaks, and I've always wondered what's a structured, easy to follow way of getting back on track. And I've talked to a decent amount of traders, not only in the last couple of months, but in the last year or two, and I've provided this way to a lot of traders, and I've gotten pretty good reviews from a vast majority of them that it's helped, so on and so forth. And I'm hoping that you guys can find the value. I think that if you are the type who has even an inkling of discipline, this type of presentation is really going to be up your alley, but we will see. Hopefully it is. Always, any feedback, anything you guys want to add, you don't agree with, definitely just put at Eddy with a question mark, and I'll try to take a look as I go through this presentation. I just want to point out before we start the usual disclaimer that everything in this presentation is for educational purposes only. Nothing I'm saying here is a recommendation in any shape or form. Everything I am doing here is what I do or what I would do. Hope that is clear, and by listening to this, you agree to that. Let us begin. And if I'm going too quick, anything like that, please don't hesitate. I do have a puppy in my lap, so if I'm distracted for a moment, um, forgive me. So, the goal of this presentation is to help you come up with an easy to use framework that you can use if you're in a rut, right? We all have ruts. What's a rut? A rut, as far as I'm concerned, is multiple red days back to back. We all have a red day here or there, 2 red days, but it's really important to notice that it's happening and to get in front of it and to have a plan ready so you know what to do when those days happen. Now, everything I say in this presentation, take it with a grain of salt. And what I mean by that is when I'm, putting timelines or time frames or dollar signs or tier size, whatever, that's for me, right? And it's going to be different for you. $100 to me, it might be, nothing to you or might be a lot to you. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. The whole point of this is that you can use this as an example to train your mind and help you come up with a plan to structure your own comeback. A predetermined action plan is what I like to call it. You guys with me so far? And I just want to point out that this applies only to certain types of traders. Like if you're a small account, this is not going to be easy for you. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that what is in this presentation won't be of use to you. What I'm saying is that this is really for the type of trader I am, which is, a hyper scalper above PDT, doing common options, doing the strategies, the know your limits, the mark ones, the portals, the 2-minute green takes reds, news, whatever it is, right? That's really who I am talking to today. Again, if you're not that type of trader, it doesn't mean that this isn't for you. It just means that you may have to adjust more than than what you would have previously seen in this presentation. So let us begin. First, is what I'm going to call step 0, is what triggers this process. What makes me say, okay, Eddy, I am in a rut. I am not doing well. I need to turn the ship around. For me, it's 2 to 4 significant red days in a row. Simple as that. 2 to 4 red days in a row. For example, if I'm down $100, $100, $100, $100, 4 days in a row, something is wrong. If I'm down 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, I know something is wrong, right? So if I'm trading poorly and the others are around me are trading well, that is a pretty big wake-up call that I'm doing something wrong, that something is up with my trading. For example, a lot of people were having a difficult time last month, for example. That's when I knew, okay, it's not just me. Everybody who I trade similar to is having a tough time. As such, I am not necessarily trading poorly, but there is something I must do to get back on track. In other words, I've deviated from the trend and I must correct it, it's a wake-up call. So if a good, if there's a trader, if there's Eddy Jr. and Eddy Sr. and in two different worlds, right? And one of them is doing really well, all else equal, and the other one is not doing well. It's important to figure out where it's going wrong. So that's the whole point of this course. To do this, of course, you need to track your performance in the form of a journal. If you know of another way, great, but I use a journal. I use TraderSync. Knowing what symbols are working for you, what strategies are working for you, what days are good for you, all these types of things matter in your analysis. For example, I've been read every Friday this month. That is not a regular trend for me necessarily, but it is something that I think is important, right? What am I going to do this Friday? I'll probably size down. I'll try to be a little bit more careful. That type of analysis will serve you really, really well in the future because that data, this is a business, right? What we're doing, we all run our own businesses. You never would run a business without an accountant. You need someone with numbers. You need, well, not someone with numbers. You need to be able to run your own numbers. You need to be able to know what's working for you, what's not for you. For example, I know that Amazon is not working for me this month. It was working last month. What's my best name of the month? Tesla and Google. So am I going to go back to Amazon? Probably not. I'm going to listen to the numbers, right? What's really good about TraderSync, by the way, and I'm not at all telling you should or shouldn't use this, but they're very nice in that they use a calendar view to show which days you're red or green. So if you have a lot of red days in a row, you'll be able to physically see it. And I think that's very, very important. So when I see 2 to 4 days, that's when I start putting in place this plan. Step number 1 is to analyze. You need to figure out where you're having issues, and frankly, only you can do this. Now, is it a particular name, right? For example, I know Amazon has not been kind to me this month, but Google has. So, that's valuable information, right? If I'm focusing on Amazon and I keep having bad days and I know that Amazon's not treating me well, wake up, right? This is your wake up call. What if it's a strategy? Has the strategy stopped working? Is the Mark 1 no longer effective? Is the 2-minute green takes red the most effective name? Which strategies are you doing? This type of stuff really, really matters. What's going on with the market? Sometimes the market's just going sideways, it's not doing anything, or it's ripping, or it's just weird, or you're going parabolic. Knowing that can really give you an idea of, you know, of where you can correct yourself. If the market keeps going up and you're just scalping, you're not making money, and for you, maybe your solution is to hold a bit longer. Maybe your solution is XYZ, whatever it is, knowing what the market's doing and getting a good unbiased look at it will really help you understand. Because frankly, let's be real, no 2 days are the same. You might have the cues going up today and tomorrow, and it could be two completely different trading days. Could be grindy, could be choppy, could be just one big spike, and then the rest of the day you just sell off. Whatever it is, knowing the market is critical. This is one where we don't really talk about it much, but I think it's very important. What is the VIX doing? How are option premiums? I've had days where I've traded absolutely phenomenally and I get stopped out for the day because the spreads aren't in my favor or the option premiums are a little bit too crazy, and it's all related to the VIX. So knowing where that is pretty critical. Is it a time of day issue? Have you adapted with the market, right? The market's always changing. Right now, the mornings, for example, have been a little bit better than I'm finding than the afternoons. So I've been more active in the mornings than I have been in the afternoons. It wasn't like that last month. Last month, I made a majority of my money, I think, in the afternoon, right? So it's always changing. And then knowing what the market's doing, like I was saying earlier, is it trending higher, lower, sideways? Knowing, what the cues are doing, the SPY, algo lines, inside days, all of that really does play a role. Is it an external event? Is it family related? Is it friend related? Is it your partner? For those of you who, listen to me just even a little bit, I just got a puppy, right? And he's currently passed out on my lap. And what does that mean? It means I don't know what sleep is anymore. I went like a week just sleeping 2 to 3 hours a day. And yeah, it absolutely affected my trading. It absolutely made, my mood a little bit groggier. It made me a little bit less energetic, so on and so forth. The point is that not not all issues related to trading, not, let me say this again. Your difficulties if you're having a rut trading, it is not necessarily trading related. It could very well be an external event, right? Are you not eating right? For example, I put this in example, I avoid Chipotle for dinner, right? Don't ask why. You should know why. Another one, of course, don't drink during the week, no alcohol. I mostly agree with that. I think one little glass of wine doesn't hurt, but generally speaking, I do agree with you 100%. Wine does make it a little bit more difficult. There's no doubt about it. What you eat, you are what you eat. So make sure, eating healthy and all that. These types of things matter. I definitely went through periods where I start ordering out more, and that's generally not a good thing, right? It's not healthy. So spending time cooking stuff like that, it's relaxing, but you're also eating healthier. These types of things can help you get your trading back. I just want to point out very quickly, there's a difference in losing money and trading well, and there's a difference between trading poorly and losing money. Two very different things. I've had days where I lose money and trade well, and trade poorly and lose money. There's a very big difference in my mood. There's a very big difference in my level of toxicity if I'm having a red day. These things matter, right? These things matter. Step number two. Step number two. You must size down. If you're losing money, why do you think sizing up is going to be your cure? You think that one trade can get you all your money? No. Trading is not about making money every single trade. It's about trading consistently, smart ways. You're going to have red trades, right? You're going to have days where it doesn't go well, but when that does happen, you need to know when to size down. Because when you have a red day, when you have a big red day especially, you have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. If you get punched in the face doing something, why are you still doing it? If the Mark 1's not working in this environment, why are you doing a Mark 1? If Tesla's not working in this environment for scalps, why are you scalping Tesla? Does that make sense to you guys? You don't want to be doing something that hurts you, and more importantly, you know that it hurts you. So having that OODA loop, that self-awareness, is very, very, very important. For me, what's the best way? It's to size down. I go to one contract or 100 shares, even one share, I don't care. You need to get back to having fun while trading, and you cannot be worried about getting hurt too badly. What do I mean by that? I have a friend who's in this room who I'm teaching who's been following all the videos, paying attention, enjoying Geronimo's callouts, enjoying my callouts, and I told him just do one share. He has a $10,000 account. Just do one share. He made $20 the other day. $20 is okay, but on one share, that's actually not that bad. That's actually not that bad. And he feels amazing right now. He's new to scalping, right? He's doing one share. He's able to make a little bit of money. He doesn't have PTSD basically for this reason, right? He used to take trades and they would go right against, right away. But now he's seeing the strategies. He's taking the small contract size, the small share size, and he's just having a good time trading. Now, I just want to point out, PTSD is not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, it's a bad thing, but it shouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for you. You know why? It's a good sign that your body is actively working to stop you from getting hurt. Let me say that again. Your body is actively working to stop you from getting hurt. When I take significant size, for example, 5, 10 contracts on a Tesla, or I would never do 10 on an Amazon anymore, but when I take significant size, is my heart racing? Am I faster to exit a position? Am I jittery? Do I have sweaty palms? Why? That is my gut. That is my body telling me, hey, last time you did this, you got hurt. Be careful. So when that happens, that to me is a sign of either PTSD or I'm doing something wrong. I am a strong believer that stress-free trading is the way to go, and I believe it can be done. Reducing size will help you reduce your PTSD, it will help you clear your mind, and it will help you trade smarter. So, step number 2, you must size down. You guys with me so far? 11 if you guys are following and everything. Any questions so far, please send it. I'm more than happy to answer. Step 3, we all know about micro goals. Small wins, small losses, small trades, have fun. You're not here to make your year, or make your month, or make your week in one trade. When you're doing micro goals, you're just proving to your mind that you can see green trades again. Right? Assisting your mind in reducing the PTSD is what we're going for here. It doesn't really matter how much you make when you're doing micro goals. All that you need to show is when you look at your position, or not positions, but your realized gain and loss. Oh, I have a bunch of green trades on one share. So you're telling me if I did 100 shares, I could have had, 100 times whatever I made. Instead of $20, I made 2,000 on 100 shares. Yes. Your mind, if trading is 90% psychological, then reducing your PTSD is critical, sizing down is critical, micro goals are critical. If you don't believe me, let me prove it to you. Do you ever take such a big loss and have been in a deer in a headlight situation, unable to trade? Type 11 if that was you at any point. I'll tell you guys, my worst ever day, I couldn't trade for about 3 months. 3 months. You look at my journal, there's a 3 month hole. I probably took 3 or 4 trades in those 3 months at most. I had PTSD. The question mark D was, have you ever taken a really big loss and then you were unable to make a trade? Deer in the headlights, unable to, you know that's the right setup. You know it's going to work. Well, you never know, but you think it's going to work. You like the odds, the edges in your favor, and you're unable to take the trade. 100%. We've all been there. So taking 100 shares, one share, 10 shares, one contract, paper trading in your mind for all I care. Whatever your number is, you got to keep it light. You should never, ever, 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 and this is one of my number one rules, never take a position where if it goes against you, it can wipe you out. I'd rather take 10 small trades and 90% of them work than take 2 large trades and only one of them works. Right? You're going to be a happier person. You're going to be less toxic. You're going to be a better person to the people around you. And besides, why should you size up on something that's not working? If we're in a boxing ring and it's Mike Tyson versus Eddie, and if you know anything about me, is that I would get my A whooped by Mike Tyson or anybody with any skills, frankly. Why would I try harder to hit a Mike Tyson? Wouldn't you honestly kind of be like, okay, I give up. This is not working for me. I'll try again tomorrow. Me personally, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would if I'm up against a Mike Tyson. If it's not working, I'm either staying light, staying nimble, trying to avoid the dodges. I'll try to get a small hit, but I'm not going to go full in on a punch. That's where you really get caught. That's really where you get knocked out. Very weird analogy I just put out there, but I think it makes the point, right? So step 4, when you're sizing down in micro goals, do this for 2 to 3 days. Now, again, this doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to do 2 to 3 days. You can do a week, you can do 2 weeks, whatever works for you, but you need to get your mind accustomed to winning again. So for me, it's about 2 to 3 days. If I can prove myself 2 to 3 green days in a row, Eddie's back, right? I'm good to go. I traded smart. I proved to my mind I can get back on the horse. That's critical. And while we're at it, you have to be sure that the strategies you are using are ones that are working today, not FOMO or chasing. So 2-minute green takes reds, working in this environment. Portals, working in this environment. Know your limits, working in this environment. Are Mark 1s working? Yeah, lower conviction. So maybe just, focus on one strategy, like the 2-minute green takes red, and make that your goal just to hit those all day. With one share. I don't care if it's 2 shares, 5 shares, whatever. Prove to your mind you can be green. And if it still isn't working out for you and you have a red day, at least it's a tiny red day. Because I guarantee you, there's nothing better than losing $100 when you just had $3,000 red days in a row. Speaking from experience, but that's how I feel. Now, I want to talk about the importance of a stop loss system. And this might sound like it's off topic, but actually it's very on topic. And let me explain why. This is probably one of the most important parts of my trading, is having an active and reliable stop loss system, right? You cannot expect to have a long-term career in trading and have really big red days where you can't stop trading and things are just getting worse. Type 11 if that's happened to you, where everything you do is just making that number get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. We've all been there. I've been there. There's nothing worse than that. You will be toxic and it will affect your trading and it'll affect you. It'll affect your life. You need to know when to stop. For me, and I've talked about this many times, if I'm down $1,000, I'm done. You could name your number. It could be $100, it could be 10,000. Every single diamond trader in this room that I've asked has that number. Maybe not the female ones. I haven't asked, the Judys and Kathys of the world, but Mark Fink, Kelly, Geronimo, myself. There's a reason we do this. What if I keep going? What if I'm down so Friday and Monday, both days, I was down $1,000. I have no shame in saying it. I'm actually proud I was down $1,000. I know that sounds wild, but why am I saying that? I was down $1,000. I said, Eddie, you're done for the day. It's not working for you. There's nothing wrong with it. You didn't tilt. You traded smart. It just did not work. I can make that money back tomorrow. I can make $1,000 tomorrow pretty reliably, but if I'm down $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, not only am I toxic, not only am I angry at myself for not doing my stop loss system, it's harder to get back to a $4,000, to break even than it is $1,000, right? So if I get back to break even, great. But if I don't, I'm making it worse. And if I keep trading and it gets worse and worse and worse, you're digging yourself a hole that's harder to climb out of. and you're likelier to tilt. You're likelier to take bigger position on a stupid trade, chasing a name that's about to pull back anyway, and then you're even a worse position than before. And one thing I do as well is I hold myself accountable not only to you guys, but the room, to my friends in the room that I talk to on the phone on a daily basis, but also to my partner, to my wife. I tell her, hey, I lost $1,000 today. I don't feel good about it, but I'm glad it wasn't worse. And you know what she'll say to me? Good job. You didn't F up today. She says it in a much nicer, less comprehensive way, but that's what she says. And it's a great way for me to prevent tilting. Why? If I'm down $900, right? If I'm down $900, I know the next trade can stop me out. So I'm going to be smarter the next trade. Like on Thursday, I was down $900. I ended the day, I think, no, it was another day, whatever, but I was down $900. I ended the day minus 45 because I knew that, okay, I'm down 900. My next trade can knock me out. My next trade better be a good one. You know what? I'll wait for Geronimo to call out a good trade. Geronimo likes this Qualcomm or this Amazon, whatever. I took it. Okay. Oh, I'm 700 down. Oh, 500 down. Oh, I'm almost green. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. In July, I was going through a lot of stress with like personal stuff, whatever, not important. I had 5 to 6 days where I got stopped out. I lost $1,000. And 100% of those days, had I kept going, I would have blown up. By the way, July, I actually had a flat month. So it shows you that I was all over the place in July, but I used the system to get me back on track. And then I ended up having some of my best months right after, right? Not a coincidence. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. So that's the stop loss system. Now, I could definitely make it a little bit more advanced. For example, one thing I do is if I'm down 500, I get up, walk around, get some air, figure out what's going on. If I'm down 1,000, I say to myself, okay, am I the one who's an issue here, or is it the market? I always ask people who trade like myself. For example, let's say a trader who trades just like me is also stopped out. And he says, wow, I traded really well. It just wasn't my day. Hey, I'm down 1,000, you're down 1,000, we both got stopped out. Okay, we'll come back another day. But if I'm down 1,000 and he says, what are you talking about having the best day ever? Something's up with me and I might not have noticed it yet. So there is an importance in knowing when to stop. Type 11 in the room if you want to do this for the rest of your life, this job. If you want to run a business of trading for the rest of your life. I can't put an 11 right now because this puppy's asleep in my lap, but I'm putting a massive 11. All right. I used to make $300 a day at my old job. I cannot do that again. I used to commute 2 hours a day back and forth. I cannot do that again. This is the most freeing job you can have. And a big 11 to any, 100% I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I know that and I consider myself a small-time trader, by the way. I'm not taking 10, 20, 30 contracts like, some of the people in this room. Nope. I'm taking between 1 and 10 contracts at any given point, and not more. Not more. I can make plenty on 2 to 3 contracts of Amazon and Tesla. But I know that if I start sizing up and I start having these really bad days, I can get wiped out quickly. So that's the importance of a stop loss system for me. And by the way, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I've been day trading since April of 2019. My worst day, actually my worst day ever, but my worst day has been in that period. I lost $1,500 in one day. $1,500. Anybody who knows the type of trading we do on 2 to 3 contracts knows that you can make $1,500 in a relatively, within a couple days if the trading is good. It's something you can come back from. I haven't had I've never gone more than 1,500 red in my life. And I'm really proud of that because my up days are multiple times higher than that. So I'm doing something right in that respect because I want to do this for a long time and I know the value of stopping. Okay, discipline matters. Let me give you an example of my plan. Make it very quick. 2 to 4 consecutive red days, the comeback plan begins. If it's 2 stop out days in a row, consider taking a day off, right? So I got stopped out Friday and Monday. So today, I figured out what was going on. I realized that a lot of the toxicity, or not a lot of toxicity, a lot of the issues were external. I came up with a game plan, figured out what was going on. Today, small green day, I feel great. Back on track. I know that I say you should do 2, 3, 4 days, whatever, but I also know why I had those red days, and I don't think I traded poorly. I think I just had a couple trades that just really went against me, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I used my journal to figure out what's tagging me. I know that Amazon for me right now is just not working out like it usually does, and that's okay. I know that the market's gone completely berserk and parabolic, so I know that a lot of these whip down moves can tag me pretty hard, and that's part of the game. Could be a platform issue, right? I know that in July, Schwab was just unbearable, and I had to move to Fidelity, which changed my trading forever. And for me personally, as of late, is lack of sleep. That's why you guys have not heard me as much. Is because I have a little puppy. He's waking me up at random hours of the night wanting to play. Right. By the way, pro tip: Benadryl knocks them out, even if they don't have allergies. So keep that in mind. Note to self when I have a kid one day. Partially kidding. And then sizing down micro goals until I'm comfortable again. You need to have fun trading. You can take small scalps. Who are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? That you could make all your money back in a day? No. Even if you make $1 a trade, just see green. Just see green. Mark D, you are not bragging, sir, at all. At all. I mean, I can tell you, Mark D, I had my absolute best month ever in September by like 3 to 4 times my previous best month on 3 contracts of Amazon. 3. That's not insane. I mean, it is insane, but it is not, you know, basically I made what they would have paid me in a year at my old job, basically, on 3 contracts. So it proves to you that it's possible. Anybody who says you need to size up and size up, listen, if you're comfortable sizing up, that's great. But I personally, I don't like having heart attacks when I trade. I don't want to take 10 contracts of Tesla as it whips up and down through a little low conviction Mark 1. There's nothing wrong with keeping small size. Let's review. Identify what triggers the process. What is it for you? Insert name here, where you say, okay, there is a problem and I need to fix this. Then you go through the steps. Step 1, analyze what's going on. What names are tagging me? Is it the market? Is it me? Is it an external event? Can someone confirm what I'm thinking? Is it, if it's me, can someone say, yeah, Eddie, it's you. You're really messing this one up. Or can that person say, you know what? No, I think it's just a tough market. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. 2, size down. I rather make back my day doing 1 contract of little scalps than try to size up to make it all back and make it worse. Step 3, micro goals. We've all heard of this before. A micro goal is small win, small loss. Buy in, buy out. Market in, market out. Prove to your mind that you can be green. And the last one, and it's related, but it's related and it's not related, but it's really key to staying, alive in this industry is a stop loss system. And I know it's very easy to say, and I know it's not. You're there, and it's like, oh, I really want to keep going. I can make it back, bro. I can make. Listen, maybe you can. Just don't make it back today. Make it back tomorrow. I can tell you with complete comfort, I'm down 2K Friday and Monday, and today I'm chipping away back at those numbers. And let's be clear, those are not huge numbers for a lot of people. For me, it is a number that I'm uncomfortable with, and until I make that money back, I am going through this process. I am being careful. I am making sure I end green. I am making sure not to give back too much of my day if I decide to trade after 8 a.m. Now, homework, create your own plan. If you want to email me, eddie@t3live.com, and you want me to review it or at least hold yourself accountable, I am here always to help anybody out who needs it. But I think it'll help you come up with a plan, that one that you can rely on, and one that is, because here's the thing, if you can come up with this plan and you can come up with a stop loss system, here's what's happens to me is I'll be down $1,000, I'll be down $1,000. Okay, I can make that back. Here's the process. Okay, what did I do wrong? Let me size down. Let me micro goal. I have a stop loss system, so I know I won't tilt, and I know I'm done at a certain level. Once I'm comfortable and green and able to take a little bit more size, that'll come naturally. Eddie's back in the game. Now, I would type 11, but my dog is literally on me, so I'm sorry. I would put a little um, uh, chat break. But does anybody have, if you have put any questions earlier, please put it in. But does anybody have any questions on this, on anything I just said? Appreciate it, Stu Shop. Glad you liked it. Like I said, like my worst day was $1,500 last year, and this year it's about 1,200. which is really manageable, which is really, really manageable. Like I can come back from $1,000 down. I can come back from $2,000 down. I can't come back from $5,000 down or $10,000 down because I was toxic and an idiot. It the more you lose, in my opinion, on a tilt day, the harder it is to come back, the more toxic you're going to be. And the whole point of my trading, whether you guys agree with it or not, is stress-free, no toxicity, low tier, make your money, call it a day. That's how you survive being a professional trader, in my opinion. Keep in mind, I've only been a professional trader full time since April, but I've been doing this long enough to know that losing money hurts. So, any questions, by all means. Otherwise, I will go ahead and wrap it up. One thing, Mark D, just based on what you're saying, I'm trying to get better in this area. I just started tracking how much red days are worth each month. Each month, um, you know, I track red days, but I also like to track how I traded. Like if I'll say out loud, like I traded really well today and I'm up X, or I traded really bad today and I made Y. Because I'd rather lose money and have traded great and smart and not be toxic than make money and be toxic and stressed and literally affect if this affects your health, guys. If you do this wrong, it affects your health. Like I'm not saying I have gray hair, but if I were to take 5, 10 contracts of Amazon or Tesla, I feel like that could be accelerated. you know so it's important, this type of stuff, to get it right. This is the part of trading that they don't really talk about, but will save your behind. Mark D, if you want to share it, I would love to hear what you have to say. So definitely, write me an email if you want, and maybe we can make a together lesson at some point. How do you track your trades? TraderView is good. TraderSync is the one I use. I've used both. They're very similar. Um, what I do, Shane, is I'll just import all my trades. Unfortunately, with Fidelity and Schwab, it's a little bit different, but the point is that I'll look at each name and be like, oh, Amazon, I made X. Tesla, I made Y. NVIDIA, I was negative today. Okay, why is that, right? Some names are just easier for others to trade, and for me, NVIDIA is not my number one name right now. My number one name is Google and Tesla, weirdly enough. Um, that's just how it is. Would you say you've never really had a big tilt where you held a loser and prayed it would turn around? Sounds like you've been extremely disciplined and kind of lose it fairly quick, Jess. Well, Jesse, in the past I have, but I learned very quickly, and it resonated with me. Given that we're in a market, what is always available? Shares and options to trade, right? So if you sell, you can always get back in. But I rather take the quick loss and not be toxic and just accept it as is than hold and be like, God, I hope it goes up. Oh, I hope it goes up. Oh, I hope it goes up. Oh, it didn't go up. I lost even more. I'm done. Because have you guys ever seen Amazon drop 10 points in your face? I have, and I've been very quick to get out, and I've never taken such a bad loss. I can't come back from it. So tilting is a very, very scary thing. And this type of plan is why I built this. I don't want to tilt ever. I've tilted before, don't get me wrong, but they've never been so bad that I can't come back. I think my worst ever tilt day was $500 down. Let's be real, 2, 3 good Tesla trades and you make that money back on tightening contract size. So I'm putting these numbers out there just so you guys understand. Just so you guys understand. Big Ops Slow Cash, I used to do daily. I decided to do weekly because I don't want to think about my numbers anymore. Um, I really want to be, thinking clearly. I don't want to be thinking about the numbers anymore. I just want to trade and be happy. I do my numbers at the end of the day, Friday or on a Saturday. It's novice tilting, Brent, sure, but I rather novice tilt than pro tilt. I've seen people get wiped out completely tilting, and it's the scariest thing. I mean, there was one trader I was talking to. He went from one contract to 22 on Tesla, and he's there tilting his ass off, and he's thinking, "My God, what have I done?" But that's scary stuff, you guys. How do you prevent yourself from trading again after losing 1K? That's a really good question, Kelvin. Um, I hold myself accountable to the room and to my friends. So there's a couple friends in this room that I know personally and very well, and I tell them, "Hey guys, I just lost $1,000. I'm done. I messed up or I did really well, whatever, but I'm done. And then I tell the room, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I will actually type into the room, guys, I'm down $1,000. That's it for me today. I'm going to hang out, but I'm done trading. It's important because you got the only reason I'm in this position right now is because of you guys. I love this community and I hold myself accountable to you guys because I consider you guys friends and family, right? And if I tell you, Kelvin, for example, I messed up, man, I'm done, that's it, and then I come back and I keep going and I make it worse, I'm either A, going to be embarrassed that I did it, or B, I'm going to be hiding I'm going to be hiding it and saying, no, I was done, and then I have a 2K red day, for example, and I messed up. And then I'm lying to you, and I don't accept lying to people that I care about. And that's also, Kelvin, that's the problem with Fidelity because it's so easy to open up. With Schwab, it takes about 10 minutes to get going. But when you freeze and then start rationalizing, and won't then start rationalizing. Brent, you solve all your problems by just clicking market out and then putting your hands up in the air and stepping away for a second. Like, what just happened? The problem with tilting is it's like what they say about it, like in economics, a depression. You don't know you're in a depression until you're out of it, right? A recession, you know what a recession is. It's 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, but a depression cannot be measured. It's like tilting. You don't know you've tilted until you've tilted. You know what, Kelvin? If you have one of those days and you're down X amount and that's your stop loss, say it to the room. Don't be ashamed of having a stop loss day. I'm not. I will gladly tell you every time because I know that you're keeping me in check. Not just you, but everybody here. Tilting means you're not acting on what you need to do. Tilting to me, Brent, means that you're so hell-bent on a certain trade working that you're no longer seeing clearly. You're just in and out, doubling down, doing stupid trading, hoping, keyword hoping it's going to work out. We all tilt differently. I've tilted before. I know what it's like, and I don't do it. Like if I do it, it's generally going to be like one contract or 100 shares, something small. But I know when to stop, and that's very, very powerful. That's very, very powerful because, you know, put it 11 if you've tilted so bad that you don't know how you're going to make it back. If you just had that thought, how am I going to be able to do this? I would type 11 right now, but I can't. Exactly. So you guys get it. It's important to not ever put yourself in that position. Gilbert nailed it. After long enough, you can find your tilt triggers and behaviors and self-diagnose. Mark D earlier just said external events tend to be his tilt trigger. Thank you, sir. I agree. If I lose sleep, I tend to be stupider and I am more likely to tilt. If I take a big loss, I'm likelier to tilt. If I see the trade working and I lost money on it, I tend to tilt. I don't tilt because I'm disciplined, but I know that's what triggers me. It's also why I ask my friends, don't talk about money until the end of the day. If I have a friend up 10 grand and I'm up $500 and I'm not trading well, I'm going to try to size up to try to get that money, right? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Could it work? Yes. Will it hurt if it doesn't work? It'll hurt more than it feels good if it works. So that's the lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, this type of stuff, because I wake up every morning literally saying, this could be my last day trading if I'm not careful. And there have absolutely been days where I'm sitting there thinking I should have traded. But if my worst day is $1,500 on a 30, 40, $50,000 account or whatever it is, I can live with that and I can come back with that. Dennis, we'll go in 20 minutes when Geronimo hops on. We'll do the poll. My pleasure, Mark. My pleasure, Kathy. Exactly, Jesse. There have been days, Jesse, where I lose $500 on a trade and I'm like, okay. But there are other days where I lose $200 on a trade and I want to smash the wall. Metaphorically speaking, I don't smash stuff, but you see what I'm saying. How you make that money and how you lose it really matters. It really, really matters. Don't forget, if you guys ever type at Eddy tilt help or tilt, I will immediately stop everything I'm doing and talk you off the cliff. so to speak, right? I take tilting very, very seriously. I it's one tilt, one bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, any last minute questions? As a reward, I'll show you my puppy if you guys want, if you guys stay after the recording.